today. So we are studying how to discover freedom, happiness and wisdom in our life. That helps us in our personal life, professional life, social life, and at every moment in our life. So the last two talks and the practices, we focused on the first sutra. Do you remember why the sutra is written, how it is compressed? We need to open it up and to relate it to our day-to-day life. So today is our second sutra from this great master. So who says Yoga Vratti Nirodha, 4 words. Literal meaning is emptying the mind of its content leads to the highest meditative state. But before we go into that, let us open this. Last time we understood yoga is the highest state of meditation, and that takes place in the mind, and the mind lives in 5 subjective states. Do you remember? Do you remember a metaphor? Then I explained that Arizona is US because I live in Arizona, so that's a good example. But USA is not Arizona. You have to think over it. So it means there are many subjective states of the mind that cannot be yoga. Means what? Mind lives in 5 subjective states, out of which only the 2 subjective states we can achieve. Yoga. What is yoga? Yoga is the highest state of mindfulness. That is what we have done. So now we are Yoga Chitta Vratti Nirodha. So let us take the word Vritti. Vritti means thought patterns, means behavior, means attitude, means reaction, means response. Normally we say it is all modifications of the mind. Why we say modification of the mind? The mind is modified. I see, David, my mind is modified of the shape of a David, of the shape of a Daniel, of the shape of a Stephen. That is why we say, oh, here is David, here is Stephen. Means it is a thought. The mind is modified. Mind is the cause of the problem, and mind is the cause of a solution. So what I was talking is relevant today. The knowledge and the practice should go together. Because mind takes the shape of what it thinks, perceives, desires, reacts. One day, long back, I remember my master told me, do you love me? Yes. Do you respect me? Yes. But if I become crazy, then what will happen to your mind? So he said, I will also become crazy. That is not the way to be a seeker. What it means. A beautiful message. What is the message? That once you have accepted a teacher whom you love and adore, keep that image in your mind, even if the outer teacher becomes the crazy, because that will help you. Leave that teacher, but keep that image. Why? I'm selfish. I want to evolve. I have nothing to do with others. You see the modification of the mind. it takes long time to reach to that state. So, solution when the mind, what is the solution? This sutra says when the mind is empty. When the mind is empty, then it reflects our true nature. Mind by default is habitual, instinctive, impulsive. So I have to get rid of it. How to get rid of it? First knowledge, understanding, and then practice. Now ask yourself, who can take over the mind that is impulsive, habitual, and instinctive? Just think of it. It is the intellect. So I have to contemplate and reflect. What intellect does? I'm answering, this journey is a synopsis. In 1 hour, we cannot cover everything. So just give you a synopsis. You all are wise and intelligent, so you need to think over it. So who can take over the mind? Intellect. What intellect does? Contemplate, think, and reflect. What happens when you contemplate, reflect, and think? You are able to separate the instinctive, habitual, reactive thoughts from the mind. If you do not think, it will not happen at all. So when you are separate, then what happens? That is what is known as discernment and viveka. That is the great principle. So what makes it firm? Now you have understood that these thoughts are not required. But then how the mind will realize? By practice. So one is knowledge, the second is the practice. Do you practice with or without knowledge? Oh, without knowledge, mind returns to the old knowledge, old habit. Without practice, mind enjoys its habitual way. If you don't do the practice, the mind will respond to its habitual, instinctive, and reactive way. Are you understanding that? Are you getting that? Now, in the previous sutra, Patanjali is saying that out of the 5 subjective states, only 2 subjective states helps you to succeed in meditation. The 3 subjective states will take you to the world of the desire, of the reaction, of the anxiety, of the stress. Only the first 3 subjective states causes you the stress. You remove those 3 states, there is no stress in life. There is no suffering. That is the beauty of learning these sutras. Now understand emptiness. Emptiness. So this sutra, yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Yoga, we have understood from the first sutra, it is the highest state of meditation. Chitta, chitta means the mind that lives in 5 subjective states. Vritti, attitude, thought pattern, group of thoughts, millions of thoughts. And nirodha, nirodha means empty. So what is the meaning of this sutra? Emptying the mind of its content is the highest state of empty. So the Vyasa, the commentator, says not all the contents to be emptied. You cannot make the mind empty of its natural content. What is natural content? Can you think of it? Peace, happiness, love, wisdom. So it means he is pointing out we have to get rid of those contents of the mind which are not desired, which are not required, and that causes the stress, suffering in our day-to-day life. Are you getting it? So I need not to work hard for my peace, happiness, freedom, and wisdom. It is already there in the mind. It is overshadowed. It is veiled by vritti, by modifications, by certain thought pattern which created a wrong notion in my mind. So first I get the knowledge through the intellect. Daniel has started a good topic, so I'm repeating it again. So I must filter out, I must understand. You are crazy. If I say you guys, you are crazy, now question is, what happens to my mind before I say that you are crazy? It is covering my freedom. It is veiling my peace. So should I say it or not? Choice is with us. But why I say you are crazy? Because you do not fulfill my expectation. The way I believe you are good, you are not behaving in that way. But what I have to do, whether you behave in a particular way or you behave in a way, that is your choice. That is your freedom. Why I should be attached? Do you see that? So that attachment creates the ripples, the thought waves, the thought pattern. That causes the problem. So Master says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Where it means empty the mind of its content. We always rush when the mind says, oh, that guy is crazy. That guy is like this. I want to blame. I fire. And then I repent. So a seeker knows, I have not to harm my mind. I have not to make my mind crazy. I should work on the mind should not work on me. Are you getting it? That is the meaning of this sutra. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Are you getting it? Do you remember the 5 states? Wandering mind. Second is sleeping mind, lethargic mind. Third is obsessed mind. Fourth is seeker's mind, that is one-pointedness. So keep in your mind what it means by one-pointedness will be covered in the future sutras. It is not concentration. Then the 5th is the empty state of the mind. What we studied in the very first talk, that there is a natural state of the mind. That natural state of the mind is disturbed, veiled by these thought patterns. What are those thought patterns? Again, think it. I like you. That is one option, because you are what is right and good. That is why I like you. So what is the liking? The mind by default likes and dislikes. That is its nature. And the likes and dislikes causes ripples in the mind, and then we start thinking about it. And that thinking causes the attachment and detachment, and that attachment and detachment is causing the delusion, and the delusion is causing the suffering. So you see that one thought of liking creates millions of thought patterns. That disturbs my peace, freedom, and wisdom. You empty them, the peace is already there, the happiness is already there, the love is already there, the wisdom is already there. Are you getting it? That is why this master says yoga is emptying the mind of its contents. Not all the contents. What are those contents? Take an example. I'm in peace with myself. That need not to be emptied. I'm happy because you follow me. Wrong content. Why? Because that will make me dependent. Do you see that? Do you live your life in your relationship? Internally you are independent. You enjoy that freedom. And outside you continue to live in your relationship. Where is the problem? Are you getting it? That is the meaning of this sutra, the first meaning of the first part of this sutra. So let us understand again and contemplate before we go for the practice. Yoga. There are 4 words in this sutra. Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha. Yoga, we studied in the first sutra. What is that? Highest state of mindfulness, highest state of meditation, samadhi. What happens? I'm answering again to the same question Daniel asked me before the beginning of a session. Should I leave the practice? Or when should we leave the practice? So you should leave the practice naturally. You are absorbed into meditation and the knowledge reveals in your mind. Once that starts, that knowledge will continue to reveal in day-to-day life. That is what happened to that woman. I explained you. She has been with me for the last almost now it is 2.5 years. But her commitment brought her to that stage. So, you see that as a teacher, we never say leave the practice. If you have taken pasta today, then I will not say you have been taking pasta for 10 years. Stop eating pasta tomorrow. Understand these logics the way the masters explain it. Why not to continue the journey to deepen the practice? Because that pure consciousness, that true nature is all pervading, it is infinite. So let me continue the journey. And you continue the journey, you make it a regular practice in your daily life. So your knowledge that is revealed in your mind will be deeper. That is what happened to this woman. Can you imagine? Mom died and a grief. We instantly remember. 2 years ago, she was too much attached to that her mom, taking care, doing her job, living alone. She is a single. Her children are living at different parts in nearby. Grief is also a thought. It is also known as vritti. The mind takes the shape of a grief and it hides that inner peace and happiness. That did not happen to her. She was able to maintain her calm. So it does not mean that you sit idly, you are sitting absorbed into meditation every day and everything will happen. No. Knowledge and the practice should go together. So we will understand the deeper meaning in the next lesson about this sutra. Again, you have to contemplate and think of it. Yoga. Yoga. So according to Patanjali, it is the awakened state, the highest state of meditation, where the knowledge is revealed. So now knowledge is revealing, you don't need the practice, but still you practice. Then what happens? Your life undergoes a total transformation. Chitta. Chitta here means the mind. Vritti. Vritti, normally we say, if the thought are entering into my mind, that is what about the content of the mind. No, it is my behavior, it is my reaction, it is my response, it is my blame, complaint. Everything that is being expressed in thought, speech and action are the content of the mind. So not all the contents need to be thrown out. What is the natural content of the mind? That we will understand in the next talk. Natural content of the mind is peace, happiness, love, wisdom. Why it is so, how it is so. And that is Nirodha. So the master is saying, remove those contents that created the repulse in the mind, caused by the likes and dislikes, created further content in the mind, that is blame, complaint, duality, conflict, anxiety, stress, suffering in your life. So ask the intellect to take over the mind, clear it, filter it, understand it, then practice it. You are there in that journey. I'm also older, so it becomes difficult for the older as we grow to remove those contents in the mind because we are stuck to it. 10 years ago, you insulted me. I still remember. But it is good for the younger. They take it easy. They take it easy. You see that? So let us start our journey. Close your eyes. We will do the practice, share our experiences, and then you have any question, we will take up that question too. Eyes are closed. My friends, eyes are closed. So do you remember why we close our eyes? Sense organs cannot help us to reach to that state of meditation or mindfulness. So when we close our eyes with the knowledge, what is that knowledge? You see that knowledge and the practice should go together. I have been saying it again and again and again. But in order to have the knowledge, we need to contemplate, think. So eyes are closed and you are looking inside the heart or the head in the space. So what is going to happen? You are changing the direction of the mind. You see a very subtle knowledge. The moment you change the direction of the mind from outside to inside, can you think what happens to the body? The body tends to become steady. You see, it is so easy to do it, and yet it is very challenging to do it. So what happens? The mind, because it continues to live in the first three states, it has entered into the mind unorganized, subconsciously, habitually. That moves the body. But when you are a seeker, the body remains steady. You see, the knowledge and practice both are important. They are the two main spices of any journey of meditation. So you are looking deep inside the heart in the space. So then again we ask the mind to look at a point in the space. You know what happens? Look at a point in the space inside. Means the intellect is working with the knowledge, and then the mind is looking at a point in the space. Then what happens? The mind finds something new other than habitual, instinctive, impulsive, reactive thought pattern. How simple it is to understand. So keep that understanding in your mind, and then you practice. The practice becomes deeper. How simple. And now when we are looking at a point, what we are doing? We are giving a mantra. What is mantra? Is a thought with a contemplation and reflection. So even in the second step that we are going to do, you can enter into a meditative state with variety of experiences. There are chances that the body becomes too much. No, it will become hot. Hot means heat, and not the other way. And sometime it freezes in cold and other experiences. Why it happens, and then we will start. There is a word, meaning, knowledge. So when the word and the meaning merges into the knowledge, you are already into a meditative state. So looking inside the heart, in the space, singing and listening. First, what is singing and listening? Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. You are saying in your mind. You are singing in your mind, and you are listening to what you are singing. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. So we follow the same process. Singing and listening. Now singing, listening, and meaning. What is the meaning of Sarvesham swastir bhavatu? For everyone there should be well-being. Well-being is a state. Let that state be present everywhere, in every human being, with every living species on this earth. What we are doing? We're asking the mind to expand yourself. Drop your selfish nature. Why it happens to the selfish nature? Because selfish nature lives in the first three states. Unselfish nature lives in the last two states. That causes the meditation to happen. We are not a political, or social activist. Yeah? We are not a social welfare. We are seeking how to work on the mind. So now singing, listening, and meaning. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. With a meaning. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. And the third stage, singing, listening, meaning. The mind moves from the singing to listening to meaning, merged into the knowledge. You are in the state of well-being. Let us see. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. You need to practice until the time for example, you're in a restroom and the mind starts singing. And tell me when that happens. Then we will change the practice. Second, singing and listening, second line. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Add just spice of emotion, feeling. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. What is the meaning of the shanti? Means peace. Do you remember image of the peace? It is sukha, good space. So you know the meaning and you see the space. Singing, listening and meaning. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. So while singing, listening, meaning, you see the infinite space all around you. Inside and outside there is only one space, and that is good space. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. And now singing, listening, meaning and knowledge. I believe you understand. As you sing, so you listen. As you listen, so you know the meaning. As you know the meaning, the knowledge is revealed. So all the thought enters into that state of inner peace. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. When you do the practice on your own at home, you can rewind this step and repeat it. You rewind, repeat it, rewind and repeat it, because knowledge and the practice both are merged together. And you will see what happens to you throughout the day. Third line, singing and listening. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Singing, listening and meaning. What is the meaning? Let there be completeness. Everything, every being is complete in itself. Why? So simple. Anything that is created by the whole, that creation will also be the whole. See the argument by the master. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Now just see the understanding. Because I feel incomplete, that's why I become aware of the people, object and thing. That's why I become aware of my house is more beautiful than yours. My body is better than yours. My smartphone is better. You see that? We find the sense of incompleteness. I was doing the same thing while lying down last week, and every object in the mind disappeared completely. for a couple of hours. Singing, listening, meaning, and the knowledge. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Push the mind. I'm complete. Mind, don't be crazy. And the last line, singing and listening. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Singing, listening, and meaning. What is the meaning? Auspiciousness. Do you create auspiciousness? No. You drop the mind that is preventing the auspicious moment that is present all the time in our life. There is no bad morning. There is always a good morning. Sun is the same. The earth is the same. My mind has gone crazy. That is the realization we should have. Singing, listening, and meaning. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. It is here and now, my friends. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. And now, you remember? Singing, to listening, to meaning, to knowledge. Knowledge is what is? Consciousness, awareness, feeling, knowing, without any thought. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. What a beautiful way. And now say 3 times mentally. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. By yourself. In that state, start breathing deep, silent, and slow. We are keeping this step as intact. Check the breath rate in the rhythm is equal. You are enjoying, the mind is enjoying that rhythm. Not very deep, not little deeper. Just adjust on a line. So, breathing is car, mind is driver, highway is the space inside. The moment you start breathing in, move the mind inside the right arm, from the shoulder to the fingertips. The mind is looking the highway. When you exhale, the mind is moving from the fingertips to the shoulder on the highway. We are doing this practice so that I will add something here and you will see the mind will go deeper. So we are settling into these steps. So you'll know my mind that how I continue this, help you to continue the journey. So mind is, and the breath is moving inside the right arm in the space. So you may have a feeling, oh, I bypassed the body. But at the same time, you have a freezing, sweating deeper sweating sometime. It's okay. Accept it, recognize it. Do it on inside the left arm. Same way. As you inhale, the mind moves from the shoulder inside to the fingertips. As you exhale, the mind moves from the fingertips to the shoulder. What to watch? There is nothing to watch. You will experience as if you are bypassing the body. What it means? You are dropping the identification with the body. How come? The knowledge is revealing behind the mind of which we are not aware. Inside the right leg, simple and still very deeper. Do you remember I said simple the practice, higher it is. And the highest practice, even to say it is simple, does not fit. Why? There is no practice. You are in that mode of a knowledge. Again, I am clarifying what we discussed today. Inside the left leg, you will see you go too far from the body. Means what? You are dropping the identification from the body. Is a great way. Beautiful. I appreciate you all. Now in left leg you have done, so inside the spine. Perhaps you have done it. Even if you have not done it, it's okay. Looking into the spine, moving the mind with the breath in the spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone, and from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Understand clearly, my friends, we are using these steps, means devices, to get rid of the first three states of the mind. Why? You know the answer. Now, leave that step. You know, the first two steps were the knowledge practice, and you see how it helped you to experience being comfortable, being carefree, and being casual. And we will continue with the knowledge practice again. You see, that is also a knowledge practice. The mind is not asked to do anything. Look at the head and the neck. Do you remember the space all around the head and the neck? Find out the spherical space in which your head and the neck is present. And then you move your mind from the space to the head and the neck. What do you find? The shape. Then sensation. Then stillness. So let us today pay attention to the outer manifestation of the mind. The right arm, the cylindrical space. The right arm is present in a cylindrical space. You are confining the territory of the mind when I say cylindrical space. Then shape of the right arm. Are you doing anything? You simply become aware of it. That is what the knowledge practice is. Then you feel the sensation. And inside you experience the stillness in the right arm. You know, when the mind drops that identification, there are sudden upsurge of experiences, of vision, of colors, of heat and cold, freezing, numbness, tingling, and others. What should we do? Recognize, accept it. Left arm. Outside. Cylindrical space. The left arm is within the cylindrical bag of the space. And the mind easily moves to the shape of the left arm, sensation, and stillness. Do you remember? Stillness in the body. It is not stillness of the body. Who will make the stillness of the body? The mind. What we are asking the mind just to see, be aware, look, feel, that is all. Rib cage. The space all around the rib cage in the front and the back. Then the shape. Then sensation. Then the stillness. 4S. I combine the two steps together. Belly. All around the belly means space, shape, sensation, stillness. Right leg, cylindrical space outside, and inside is the right leg. So from the space we move to the shape. From the shape we move to sensation. From the sensation we experience the stillness. Left leg, the space all around. Shape, sensation, stillness. Entire body from the crown to, but become aware of a cylindrical space all around the body. I'm repeating, so once we go into that sutra, you'll understand. Confining the territory of the mind. So when it is aware of the space, it leaves the objects. When it leaves the object, it leaves the thoughts. And then the shape of the body. Sensation in the body. Experience the stillness in the body. From that stillness, you can sneak and you can peep inside, and from inside, move the mind from the crown of the head to the heart, casually, Om. From the heart to the crown of the head, Om. Where is the meaning and the knowledge of the Om? Om is my pure consciousness. Can I see that? Om. Om. You are dropping on your own. See that the Om merges. Pure knowledge remains. Doing nothing, remain as you are. Or you can still drop Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside, know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We will share our experiences, and if you have any question, how are you, Daniel?
Thank you. That was pretty good meditation, and still very deep and very quiet. What was a little bit new for me, that I was feeling that my body was frozen.
That's good.
And I really like this feeling, and I wanted even to stay in this state longer. I had a feeling that I do not even need to breathe. I was like,
Beautiful. Regular practice with wisdom. These are the two keys. And you are doing great because you listen to it and you think about it. That is the way. How are you, David and Jerry?
Yeah, very, very good practice for me. It's for me. It's a journey of following your words and letting go and going into this abyss. And when we were doing the cylinders around the body parts, like last time, my temperature, I got really cold. I could really feel it, and I actually had some shivering, some shaking going on.
Yeah.
And by that, it just kind of felt like I was going down a road throwing stuff out of my car, and by the end of it, I had nothing left in my car. I could use an analogy, so it was really, really nice.
Beautiful. That is the way to be a seeker's journey, both of you. My master used to say that in meditation when you get these jerks, and I have also realized, and the body is pushed apart by some unknown force, we need not to worry. It is just a release of our past impression. So we maintain awareness and let us live into that. How are you, Jerry?
I'm good. The legs are still heavy, numb, and freezing.
Freezing.
At this moment.
That's good.
I love the mantra at the beginning as just the message of universal wellness, peace, complete auspiciousness. I love it. That kind of resonates through the practice, and then as the meditation goes, as we finish the mantra, I'm really in the crown and the forehead for almost the rest of the meditation now.
That's wonderful.
So it's interesting, and there's a coldness through the whole when you go through the nyasa, or I don't know what you're calling the cylinders.
Yeah.
But the coldness just goes through the entire body then.
Yeah, it is getting deeper and deeper. Beautiful. That's good. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good. The meditation was a little bit different than my last several that have been extremely peaceful, quiet, dark. This meditation was a lot of temperature changes. So I went from being very, after you sang the mantra in the beginning, it was like a switch got turned on, and I started feeling sweaty all over my body. And then when we went to the body parts, it just completely changed, as if someone turned the air on, and I just started getting really cold. I had this heaviness in my body that as Jerry pointed out, the numbness. I normally don't get numb, but today my whole lower body was numb, even to the point that I had to readjust my leg because I was getting this pain in my knee.
That is okay.
And then this, when you talk about the jerking, I felt a couple of times like I was being pushed over. And then the expansiveness of the meditation to when we were following the shoulder to the fingertips, it was going past the fingertips, and I felt myself outside that I had to pull it back into my body.
It's deeper. Experience is deepening. That is the way to be a seeker. You have to do the practice regularly. How are you, Jonathan?
Sorry, I had to unmute. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I had a good meditation today. I found it took me a little bit longer than normal to drop the intellect, but I was able to do that, and I felt, I think the biggest feeling that I was just calm and happiness and stillness towards the end of the meditation. So it was a very good experience for me today.
Yes, you have to be regular. Yeah, that's really good. How are you, Tanya? My friend. You look sad. You're happy or sad in
Good
meditation?
evening.
Good evening.
Today is some rather different practice, rather different for me. And I'm still
Yes, your voice is gone. You see that not only we freeze in meditation, we also freeze online.
and finally felt this universe inside, that
Yeah.
something new, something different.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Continue the journeys. Then, you introduced me to Daniel and Sergey. So, any question? You see that this mantra is also a word. It is simply a word. So now see the Sanskrit word so that it should go into your head and you should think over it. Mantra. Man. 2 syllables. Tra. So the suffix means destroying, destruction, killing, and man means mind. The mind that causes the problem should be destroyed is the meaning of mantra. You see the beauty of these, teachers. We have to teach with reference to these teachers. So I'm just passing on that knowledge from those teachers to you so that you become your own master. So now see the last point, the mantra. When that mind which causes the suffering is destroyed, then what is left? Natural state. What exists cannot be destroyed. What has been borrowed can easily be destroyed. Do you see that? Do you see the logic? Do you see the argument of the masters? So what I borrowed anxiety, I borrowed stress, I borrowed blame, I borrowed reaction. So I borrowed lot of things from the identification of the mind with the world outside due to attachment, due to detachment, due to delusion. You drop it and you are there. So we started our journey in this what? Natural state. So we enter into that natural state. Any question? That is good. And we will meet again on Saturday and then Monday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Bye.